What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's Will and Casino here from the Only Sports Podcast. So we are releasing our new episode for this week on Friday, but we decided to give our YouTube subscribers a special treat. So we will be releasing two exclusive clips on the YouTube channel today. We will be talking about the NFL trade deadline in one, and the other one we will be playing a contender or pretender game, talking about 10 NFL teams and our reasoning on if they are a contender or pretender. And then we will have a full episode out for you tomorrow where we break down week 9. We preview those games. We talk about the World Series, which game 6 is tonight. No, 5. Game 5 is tonight. I would get it eventually. And then we will also talk about NBA and a big college weekend. Also, the AP poll came out. So join us tomorrow on this channel for the full episode, and then wherever you can get your podcasts. As for today, enjoy these 2 exclusive YouTube exclusive clips. You get Beanie Casino, you get me unbeanied, and yeah, enjoy the clips, and we'll see you tomorrow. I want to play a game with you, Casino. I've been seeing it a lot on ESPN where they're talking about just different, for some reason, the Miami Dolphins now are like the top of everybody's, like, they're going for the Super Bowl. They're going for it. They obviously got Bradley Chubb, and then today signed him to a giant contract extension. So we're going to play everybody's favorite game, Casino. Contender.
What's in my mouth? I mean, what?
No. We'll play that after the podcast. But today on the podcast, we're playing contender or pretender. I have 10 teams here, Casino. I'm going to just ask you the question. You tell me this team you could legit see winning a playoff game. That is the criteria. Not going to the Super Bowl. Winning a playoff game, not getting to the playoffs, winning. Winning. So we will start. These are in no particular order. I have 10 teams, contender or pretender. Your favorite team, the Seattle Seahawks, led by Geno Smith. Contender or pretender?
And this is to just say if they make the playoffs to win a playoff game?
Yes.
Pretender.
Ooh. Why do you say pretender?
I mean, they're looking good, but I think the weight of playoffs will just be too much for that team in the moment, with playing against other elite teams. That's there you go. Pretender.
So the Seahawks, I also think, are a pretender, even though I think we both wish they were a contender just because it's such a fun team to like root for. But their offense is, if I can find this, 12th in the league, which that's all Geno Smith, right? We read his stats last week. He's definitely in contention for MVP, but where they scare me, and I think where they scare everybody, is with their defense. 27th ranked in the defense. Even in a weird NFC this year, you're going to play against elite offenses in the playoffs. And do you trust Geno Smith to outduel any of the elite NFC offenses? I don't think I do.
I don't.
So we're going, first one is pretender. Next up, a weird team we both had, and a lot of people had as much more of a contender at this point than I think they are, which is the San Diego Chargers, Casino. Contender or pretender?
Oh, man.
They are 4-3, only 1.5 games behind the Chiefs in the AFC West.
I'm going to go contender.
Ooh.
They have a lot of good players. And by the end of the season, if they make the playoffs and some of these players do come back or somewhat healthier than what they have been, they were going to be a team, that I kind of said from the beginning, going to be a team to keep your heads out for. So I'm going to say Contender on this one.
This is our first disagreement. I am going Pretender, and they have the 8th ranked offense in the league, which they have Eckler, obviously Justin Herbert, and all Keenan Allen when he's healthy, great offense. Their offensive line, I feel like, has been less than ideal. But for me, it all comes down to the defense. When you get into playoffs, especially in the AFC, you're going to either have to stop Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, especially if you're the Chargers. You're probably going to end up.
But that's later down the line. We're talking wild card game here if they make the playoffs.
Yeah, they still are going to have to beat the Dolphins, the Ravens, or the Bengals.
Okay, I can see them beating the Bengals or the Ravens.
I don't know if I could see them beating the Ravens, because then there's that weird thing where Lamar Jackson gets revenge for his first year in the playoffs where the Chargers wipe the floor with him. I don't know, Casito. I'm going Pretender. I haven't seen anything from the Chargers this year. I just feel like they're underachieving. So the ultimate underachieving move is getting into the playoffs and losing in the first round. They're definitely going to be a wild card, which means they're just going to play no breaks. Who knows how many of their injured stars they get back. That's why I'm going Pretender.
But they next got to win the first game.
Yeah, which I don't think they can do.
Okay.
Next up, Casino, the New York Football Giants at a whopping and surprising 6-2. Do you have the 6-2 New York Giants as a contender or pretender?
Pretender.
We're right there. We're together on this one. I think, especially
as soon as teams figure out the same plays that they're running for Saquon, it's done.
Yeah,
and it's going to be over.
Well, I think we already saw maybe the league starting to kind of figure them out, because the Seattle Seahawks have, we just talked about it, one of the worst defenses in the league, right? They're 27th, and they were able to shut down a little Saquon Barkley, and then Daniel Jones kind of imploded and they couldn't do anything, and they could barely score any points on one of the worst defenses in the league. So also, we talked about this last time. The Giants' 17th ranked defense, but a 26th ranked offense. So their stats, how they're doing, doesn't fare to what their schedule is, and they're going to have to be on the road because they're not winning that division. They would have to play the Vikings or the Cowboys or the Seahawks again. I don't see them beating any of those teams. 49ers, no way.
Trying to get better lighting for you.
This is a good angle. So we're going both pretenders on that one. Now, Casito, this one might hit a little bit too close to home. We're going your beanie branded New England Patriots, who are sitting at the moment, if I can find my mouse, 4-4, bottom of the AFC East, but everybody's in the mix there. Only 2.5 games back from the Bills. Contender or pretender, your New England Patriots?
To win a playoff game, I say a contender. Because you're talking you're talking about defense. I'm just going to go off of your rubric here.
Yeah.
This is saying if the Patriots can make the playoffs, I'm still uncertain if they can do that. But if they make the playoffs, I trust Belichick's defensive game to get them by the wild card. That's it. I'm not saying they're a good team. I'm going off of your rubric, defense. If they can make the playoffs, I can see them winning the first game that they need to win. After that,
and who will be winning this playoff game, Zappy or Mac Jones?
They're going with Mac Jones as long as he can keep somewhat okay. I mean, that's the guy that they're putting all their money in first. So I'm going contender if they can make the playoffs. But I mean, obviously, this is all contention if they make the playoffs. That's a tough. They still got an uphill. They're out of the playoff picture right now.
Yeah.
Currently. So they have to get in. If they get in, I can see them winning the first game. but that's it. Just because Belichick's defensive game is good.
You have so
And
far you
one
have
of the best. We have one of the better running backs in the league right now, with Ramondre Stevenson.
Shout out to our high school alum. So far you have 2 contenders, 2 pretenders. I have all pretenders, including the New England Patriots, specifically because 19th ranked defense, 20th ranked offense. We've seen this team stop bad teams, kind of play a 50-50, couple good quarters, couple bad quarters against good teams. And again, I just feel like if you get to the playoffs in the AFC, they would, no offense, but they would have by far the worst quarterback of all the teams in contention right now. Maybe
Definitely.
Only tied. Maybe if they played the Titans, then there'd be a chance, but maybe just crossing your fingers that Derrick Henry is tired by that point in the season. Who knows? But besides the Titans, I don't see how they could beat Bengals, Ravens, Chargers, and then Dolphins, maybe. Like, I don't know. That's tough.
I mean, no, I get where you're coming from. I mean, I thought I was playing in this game.
Next, stick it in your very own division, Casino. Another New York team that kind of got what felt like exposed last weekend. The New York Jets. Contender or pretender?
Pretender.
Yeah, that motherfucker. He's motherfucking the Jets the hardest at this point. Why do you think the Jets are a pretender?
He's too much of a rookie. I mean, look what he's doing against not even good teams in the regular season. He's not putting up stats. You take away the Patriot game, like I'm not. Yes, they ate him alive, but they did the season before as well. You take that game away, he's still not putting up stats. His defense is winning him games, but against good teams, I just don't see him. I don't see them. And you know what? I think New York, even though they started strong, both teams, I think they're going to start trending downward from here on out.
Do you think if you had to put money on it, legit money, would you bet both teams make the playoffs, both teams miss the playoffs, or just one makes the playoffs?
I could see them both making the playoffs because they've already have a decent enough record. I mean, but that's tough, dude. That's right on the cusp because they don't have to win too many more games to be a wild card.
Yeah.
Well, they have to go 500 at this point.
Pretty much. Yeah. Because we're in week 9. So there's now 18 weeks. So they'd have to, I think they both have their bye this week or have yet to have their bye. So yeah, they would have to win 5 more games, we're thinking, to get to 11, like to get to 11, 12 wins or 10, 11 wins.
Well,
yeah.
I think that to get into the playoffs with just how many teams that are, you have the good teams and then everybody else seems like within a game of each other. I mean, halfway through the season, there's not really much transparency of who's gonna be the wild cards. I can honestly, in both conferences, I could see 10 wins, even since they expanded it, a 9-win team making the playoffs.
Yeah. So here, just for the Jets, they don't have a bye this week. It's a bye next week. So this week they play the Bills, then the Patriots, then the Bears, Vikings, Bills again, Lions, Jags, Seahawks, Dolphins. So that's, I mean, if we're being generous, maybe
Lions, Jags,
2-3 of those are wins. Maybe their defense can shut down the Bears. So we're saying they are 6 now. So yeah, that go right with what you're saying, where they would win. Or no, they're 6 now, or are they?
Jets are 5.
So 5. So they would end at 8 and 9. which I don't think in the AFC that make it in the playoffs, but maybe they can steal one against Miami, maybe beat a Seahawks team, maybe, I don't know, maybe upset your Patriots. I don't know.
Possibility. I mean, I don't see the Jets beating the Patriots, so I just don't.
Yeah.
Belichick he's good against rookie quarterbacks for the most part, and ever since he's played Zach Wilson, he has that kid's number.
Yeah, you feel bad. You feel bad for Zach Wilson. All he wants to do is just bang hot MILFs, play football, and he can only do one of those good. And it's the one I feel like everybody wants to do good. Now, on the flip side of that, the Giants, they're on a bye week this week. Then they play the Texans, Lions, Cowboys, Commanders, Eagles, Commanders again, and then Vikings, Colts, Eagles. So I don't think my team's going undefeated. We've talked about this before. I don't really give a shit if they go undefeated. I just don't want them to lose their undefeated streak against the Cowboys. But I could see the Giants beating the Texans, the Lions, and then the Commanders and Colts. So that would be what? 1, 2, 3.
So they could make it
4. They would need to win 4 of their next games to get to 10-7. I could definitely see that getting them in the NFC, especially because the NFC, it feels like the NFC East is really the only division in football that's going to have possibly 2, 3 teams in the playoffs. Like, I think maybe the NFC West and then the NFC South and NFC North are kind of dumpster fires.
It's probably you're probably going to get 3 teams from your division in there.
Yeah,
I think Cowboys and Giants could be definitely the two of the 3 wild cards.
I mean, honestly, I could see the Commanders as well. Commanders have been looking good. They've won 3 in a row. I believe in Heineke. I mean, we'll talk about them when we get to the games, but now we switch. I'm sorry, that was a long diversion from the Contender Pretender game. But next up, Casino, and we'll roll through these because I feel like these are much more like yes or no compared to the first 5. The next 5, Ravens, Contender or Pretender?
Be honest, Pretender.
Whoa. Why do you say Pretender?
It's Lamar Jackson, and that's it.
Yeah, their offense is concerning.
Teams have been able to basically conceal him from running, and just again, he's not a great throwing quarterback, but he's not a bad one. But if you take away his legs, they struggle. That's my only reasoning on that.
Yeah, I think so. They have the top 10 ranked offense in the league. They have the 24th ranked defense. So again, I'm going to agree with you and say Pretender, just because I don't like when teams go into the playoffs and their defense can't stop anybody. And we've seen this Ravens team. They look like they've kind of righted the ship, but remember, they lost 4 games in a row in the fourth quarter. And how are you going to hold a lead if your defense can't stop anybody, especially when you get to the playoffs and you're playing elite offenses every week? Yeah, I agree with you. Next up, same division, Bengals, who we just saw got run off the field on Monday against the Browns.
Contenders.
And why do you say that? Just because you love Joey B?
Well, you're saying they just got run off the field by the Browns. You can go back to all these episodes. The Browns are not a bad team. They just keep blowing games. So, I mean, that was 2 good teams going at it, and the Browns just didn't shoot themselves in the foot this time. That's what happened.
Well, and Browns have best running back duo in the league for how many years now, and they can run on anybody pretty much if they just get the opportunity to. Cleveland Bengals, 13th offense, 14th defense. So I agree with you, Contender. I feel like they're going to right the ship. I trust Joey B. I feel like he can beat anybody even without his number one weapon in Jamar Chase. Next up, this is the one that sparked this game, Casino, the Miami Dolphins. The Tua-led Miami Dolphins with the number 23rd ranked defense in the league and the number 7 offense in the league. Miami Dolphins.
Contenders.
And why is that?
We talked about it last episode. That connection Tyreek Hill and Tua have. I mean, we haven't seen a team when they're both out there. We haven't seen a team stop them. We haven't.
Yeah. And there's have you seen that crazy stat going around where this past week where they played the Lions, Tyreek Hill was on average open 4 yards away from the nearest Lions defender? Like 4 yards is insane. You see, like, when the wide receiver snaps off the line, they have to shake the defender to get 4 yards away from the corner defending you in any game. I don't care if you're the Lions. I don't care if you're in a college game. Like, that is insane.
Sorry about that. For those who are watching the podcast, I have to keep playing Ring Around the Rosie with my dogs. One wanted out, one didn't want out. And now they switched and they're just crying at the door. So I love them enough to make sure that their bladders don't burst.
But I agree with you, Casino. Only concerning thing with the Dolphins for me, I trust their offense a lot. I trust Tua. Obviously, there's always that threat of if Tua gets hit again, who knows? Like, they're going to be overly cautious now. But they are one of the few teams with a winning record who has scored more or has had more points scored against them than has been scored on them. I don't know why Casino's shaking his hoof at me, but that's just a treat for the people watching. Next up, Casino, the Dallas Cowboys, the best defense in the league, apparently by no metric, but here we are. 6-2 Dallas Cowboys, second in the NFC East. Contender or pretender?
Contender. Easily. They're not bad. I know that, we keep joking about them not or them being the best defense in the league, yada yada yada, but they are still a good defense. And Pollard, he's running the ball very, very well right now. They'll find a way, the hypes, the refs, however you want to put it, they'll find a way to win a game. Yep.
So I agree. The Dallas defense is ranked 7th in the league. They are the thing I do like about this Dallas defense is they are 3rd in the league in terms of points per game allowed. They're only allowing 16 points a game, especially with that offense that is ranked. They are further on the list than I thought, but that's mostly due to Cooper Rush. They're 24th ranked in the league, but obviously we know they're better than that. They had that 5 weeks where they had Cooper Rush in there throwing for like 99 yards. So I feel like they're going to start skyrocketing up that offensive chart. The defense is ranked 7th in the league. I think we've talked about, how, why that is and all that kind of stuff, but maybe their defense is a little overrated. That doesn't mean that they're not good. That just means people are crowning them as the best defense that's ever lived in terms of, what 85 Bear comparisons and shit. It's like, calm down. But I'm right there with you. Contender, last team on this list, Casino, the NFC North leading Minnesota Vikings, who for some reason nobody trusts or respects, but they are still 6-1. Minnesota Vikings, contender or pretender?
Definitely contender.
And why do you say contender?
You just said it. They're 6-1. They're finding ways to win games, and the only team to put them down in their place right now has been your Philadelphia Eagles, who are undefeated. So, you flip that where they won that game. They're the undefeated team right now. And they just got much better, which I still don't get, but much better at tight end with Detroit trading in division. One of the best, in my opinion, one of the best tight ends in the game with Hawkinson. So,
yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that's a great segue, Casino. But so for contenders, you had Vikings, Cowboys, Dolphins, Bengals, Ravens, your Patriots, and Chargers. As pretenders, you had Seahawks, Giants, Jets.
No, I had Ravens. I had Ravens as pretenders.
Yeah, and Ravens. Yeah, I'm saying who you had as pretenders was the Ravens, Jets, Giants, and Seahawks. I was much less generous than you. I had Seahawks, Chargers, Giants, Patriots, Jets, Ravens as pretenders. And then I had Ravens as a contender, Bengals contender, Dolphins contender, Cowboys contender, and Vikings contender. And this was the going into week 9 contenders versus pretenders game. We'll play another one a couple weeks from now when the league has shooken out more. It's everybody's favorite game, Casino. It's sweeping the nation. Let's